Well, following yesterday's guilty verdict in Derek Chauvin's trial, CBS News is taking a closer look at the current state of policing in America. According to the monitoring group Mapping Police Violence, so far this year, at least 319 people have been killed by police. And between 2013 and last year, 98% of killings by police did not result in charges against officers. Jeff Pegues is in Minneapolis and is here to discuss this. So, Jeff, I have heard many people say that they felt like this conviction was a turning point. There were, a number of things that were a little bit different about the impact of this case even before we got to the trial. You saw all the protests in the streets. You saw how diverse those demonstrators were. But I think another key difference is we actually have the chief of police in Minneapolis testify against Chauvin. How significant was that?
As someone who follows these issues closely, I think it was a big deal because you rarely see a police chief, especially in a major city like this, taking the stand, testifying against an officer. And then it wasn't just the police chief, there were other officers, other law enforcement testifying against Chauvin because, it's just the weight of that video. You can't unsee it, and what you see is something that, you rarely see caught on camera, and that the impact that knee on that man's neck for 9 minutes is something that really has an impact on you. And having been here in the days after Floyd's death, it was clear to me that the police chief who was brought in as police chief to reform the police department, he was impacted by this. The entire department was impacted by this. And it wasn't just the entire department here, but it's other departments across the country. Because what these officers see, the rank and file, the leadership, is that they are being lumped in with Derek Chauvin. And as one law enforcement leader in this country told me just yesterday, he was sickened by it. His stomach turned due to the fact that law enforcement as a whole was being painted with the same brush, especially after 2014 and Michael Brown and Eric Garner in Staten Island. There was this movement, this push to reform police departments across the country. There was an effort to work more closely with communities across this country to bridge those gaps. There was an effort by law enforcement to be more transparent whenever these incidents happen by introducing body cameras. And it was almost like on that day, May 25th, 2020, all that was wiped away. And so the fact that the chief here testified in this case, it speaks to what is happened in police departments across the country over the last 5 or 6 years, the efforts to reform, and how Derek Chauvin's actions set that back.
Look, no one likes a bad cop, including, of course, good police officers. But there were other police officers there while Derek Chauvin was kneeling on George Floyd's neck. Some of those officers are now charged in that incident. It takes good police officers to intervene to push for change. What are police leaders saying on the issue of police reform?
Well, police reform has stalled. It stalled in Congress. There was this police commission, the first time it had happened since 1965, in that time frame that President Trump called for. But it was really one-sided, that commission. It had a lot of law enforcement, but it didn't have that community representation. And that's why there was a judge who essentially threw the conclusions of that commission out, or at least discredited them to the point where, no one wants to follow through on what that commission established. And so there's been this call for a new commission. There are many, including those in law enforcement, who want the Biden administration to move forward with a police commission that sort of answers some of these questions that the justice system is dealing with right now and policing is dealing with right now. But we heard last week that the Biden administration is focused on the George Floyd legislation that's in Congress that is now stalled in Congress. So we'll have to see where this goes. And I think, while some people say this verdict yesterday was a turning point, frankly, I've heard that before. You heard that in the years after Michael Brown, and there was change. And the question is, will there be lasting change? And I talked to someone who follows these issues very closely, who says, this is how he put it. This is a 400-year-old problem. You can't just expect change to happen overnight. Change will come in fits and starts, this person said, and perhaps that's what we'll see. But there is still a long way to go. And in the meantime, you have police officers who feel, the good police officers who feel that they are being painted with the same brush as Derek Chauvin. And that really makes things difficult in these communities, the ones where they really need law enforcement help on a daily basis. And to have this bad blood, if you will, is not a good thing for people on both sides. And frankly, Anne-Marie, there are a lot of people who deal with these issues on a daily basis in law enforcement and in the community. They know that. So the hope is there is some sort of leadership, don't know where it's going to come from, but some sort of leadership that bridges this divide once again, so that there can be what one law enforcement official referred to as evidence-based reform.
Jeff Pegues, thank you.